Hello, online pipe community. Ethan, Parsimonious Piper here. And today we've got Morsels for Mental Manducation. Specifically, we're going to start diving into C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity today. But first, in a 7LE, big, love it, that's a 114EX Baronet Brouillet. I have got some Granger. The pipe was a gift from Sue Dunhill. The Granger was a gift from Average John. This is, it's a nice nutty burley blend. Nothing particularly complicated about it. It's just a nice cadre blend. I had not had any Granger. This one's marked Danish production, so I'm guessing that means old formula. Now, is that going to replace Carter Hall for me? No, not as my favorite codger. But it is awfully good. And if I'm out and about, I need something, there's a lot worse choices you can make than Granger. This is pretty good stuff. Supposedly has an anisette topping on it. I don't get that. I'm not tasting that, and I didn't in the first couple of bowls I smoked of this either. Just an uncomplicated cadre blend. Good stuff. Now let's dive in. C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity, opens up with a discussion about natural law. Now, he explains by way of example what he means by natural law, because we don't use the term the same way as it once was used. The natural law, in his context, is that set of things that we all agree are right and wrong. In every human conflict, virtually, there is some sense of one side is in the right and one side is in the wrong, at least when we look back on it in history. And we have agreed upon rules that we judge those by. Now, that goes for conflicts big and small. I'm not just talking about wars. I'm talking about playground conflicts, conflicts between husband and wife, conflicts between neighbors. We have a common sense of things that are right and wrong. These used to be referred to just as the law of nature, because it was assumed that men everywhere knew these things naturally. But since we frequently refer to the laws of nature now in terms of physics and biology and such, he says what we're really talking about is laws of human nature, of human behavior. Every culture around the world has some things that are common. And if not every, almost. We admire bravery. We despise cowardice. We have a sense of fairness. What is and is not fair among individuals, and in particular at the one-on-one level. We have a sense that selfishness is bad. Now, different cultures may define who you are supposed to be kind and generous to differently, whether that is your family, the tribe, your country, or everyone. But there's a sense that selfishness as a characteristic is bad. Same thing would be true for dishonesty. Some religions, some cultures don't have a problem if you're dishonest with people outside of that religion or culture, but you better be honest with people inside it. So the parameters may be different, But the concept is the same. Someone who is habitually dishonest is not a good person. That's wrong. Again, thinking of differences, one culture may say a man can have one wife. Another may say, oh, he can have 4 or however many he wants. But there is a common agreement within that culture that another man can't have his wife or wives. There are things that we agree are wrong, even though there are other things that where we don't exactly agree. The core fundamental principle very frequently is the same. Now, those who say no, there are no absolute rights and wrongs, will usually still call the police if someone breaks into their house and steals something, particularly of any value, or if they're assaulted and mugged on the street. Why? If those things aren't wrong, why complain about them? If you've been waiting in line at the grocery store for 20 minutes because the store is chronically understaffed, which is what we face around here all the time. Now, the waits are not that long, but the understaffing, it's pretty bad. Somebody cuts in line in front of you. What's your reaction? What? I've been waiting 15, 20 minutes longer for X. You can't just cut in line. Why not? Well, it's not fair. Who says? We agree. Things like that are not fair. We have a sense of what is and is not right. We all do. Now, if you say there is no absolute right or wrong, and you've had your house broken into and you didn't call the police, you didn't complain to anybody, and you didn't really feel as if somebody had done something wrong for you. Well, I want to do business with you because, I'll sell you things for $5 a pound, but only give you a half pound. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Cheating, that's okay. You can swindle someone. There's no rule against that. Actually, I wouldn't do that because I do think it's wrong. Even if you don't get caught. Even if the other person doesn't agree that it's wrong. I do. I don't think it's good to cheat. Nobody does. Except people who live outside of, who choose to live outside of what everyone knows to be natural law. I'm getting texted by work. Give me just a minute, and I'll be back. Thanks for hanging here. Now, what happens when we ourselves are caught breaking this natural law? Ironically, most of us don't try to say, well, the law is not right. Most of us try to justify our behavior. We have an excuse for it. There's some reason that we were allowed to break that law. I'm guilty of that just as everybody else is. We normally don't protest the law itself. We protest its application to us in our special circumstance. So given that there is some sort of natural law that we all know is right or wrong, we also know that we all break it. We don't live up to our own sense of fairness all the time, of right and wrong all the time. None of us lives up to that. If you do, I sincerely apologize. Don't watch the rest of this series because it won't apply to you. I won't read from the book every week. At least I don't think I will. But I did want to read this section. It's not too long. Bear with me. Because I think it deserves emphasis. Come on. If I can get my book open. Here we go. I hope you will not misunderstand what I'm going to say. I'm not preaching, and heaven knows I do not pretend to be better than anyone else. I'm only trying to call attention to a fact. The fact that this year, or this month, or more likely this very day, we have failed to practice ourselves the kind of behavior we expect from other people. There may be all sorts of excuses for us. That time you were so unfair to the children was when you were very tired. That slightly shady business about the money, the one you've almost forgotten, it came when you were very hard up. What you promised to do for old so-and-so and have never done, well, you never would have promised if you had known how frightfully busy you were going to be. And as for your behavior to your wife, or husband, or sister, or brother, if I knew how irritating they could be, I would not wonder at it. And who the dickens am I anyway? I'm just the same. That is to say, I do not succeed in keeping the law of nature very well, and the moment anyone tells me I'm not keeping it, there starts up in my mind a string of excuses as long as your arm. The question at the moment is not whether they are good excuses. The point is that they are one more proof of just how deeply, whether we like it or not, we believe in the law of nature. If we do not believe in decent behavior, why should we be so anxious to make excuses for not having behaved decently? The truth is, we believe in decency so much, we feel the rule of the law pressing on us so. We cannot bear to face the fact that we're breaking it, and consequently, we try to shift the responsibility. For you notice that it is only for our bad behavior that we find all these explanations. It is only our bad temper that we put down to being tired or worried or hungry. We put our good temper down to ourselves. Just a little something to ponder. We're going to move on from there into the next chapter. We'll talk about objections to this. If you have any objections or questions, leave them in the comments below or shoot me an email. My Gmail address is in the About tab on my channel page. Stay on topic. Don't move ahead too fast. We're going to do this one little section at a time. And with that, I do hope that whoever is getting that ambulance gets the care they need. And I hope that you light something you like. Maybe it's an old codger blend. Enjoy your afternoon.